Welcome to the third grade classroom at St. Thomas Aquinas School in Webster City, Iowa on the Feast of St. Nicholas, December 6, 2012. The third grade class is performing A Baker's Dozen, a St. Nicholas Tale. Enjoy the show.
In the Dutch colonial town later known as Albany, New York, there lived a baker in Amsterdam who was as honest as he could be.
Each morning he checked his scales into great care to give his customers exactly what they paid for. Not more, not less.
The Amsterdam shop was always busy because people trusted him and because he was a good baker as well. And never the shop was busier than the days before December 6th, when the Dutch celebrated St. Nicholas.
At the time of year, people flocked to the baker shop to buy his fine St. Nicholas cookies.
Made of gingerbread, ice, red and white, they looked just like St. Nicholas as the Dutch knew him.
Tall and thin with the high red bishop's cap and a long red bishop's cloak.
One St. Nicholas Day morning, the baker was just ready for business when the door of the shop flew open.
In walked an old lady In walked an old woman wrapped in a long black shawl.
I have come for a dozen of your St. Nicholas cookies.
Taking a tray, Van Amsterdam counted out 12. He started to wrap them, but the woman reached out and stopped him.
I asked for a dozen. You have given me only 12. Madam, everyone knows that a dozen is 12. But I say a dozen is 13. Give me one more.
Van Amsterdam was not a man to bear foolishness, no matter when.
Madam, my customers get exactly what they pay for. Not more and not less. Then you can keep the cookies. She turned to go but stopped at the door. Van Amsterdam, however honest you may be, your heart is small and your fist is tight. Follow good now again and learn how to count it.
Then she's gone.
From that day, everything went wrong at Van Amsterdam's bakery.
His bread rose too high or not at all.
His pies were too sour or too sweet.
His cakes crumbled or chewy.
His cookies were burnt or doughy.
His customers soon noticed the difference. Before long, most of them were going to other bakers.
That old woman has bewitched me. Is this how my honesty is rewarded? A year passed.
The baker grew poorer and poorer.
Since he sold little, he baked little, and his shelves were little. Were nearly bare. His last few customers slipped away.
Finally, the day before St. Nicholas Day, not one customer came to Van Amsterdam's shop.
At day's end, the baker stared at his old unsold St. Nicholas cookies. I wish St. Nicholas could help me now.
Then he closed the shop and went sadly to bed.
That night, the baker had a dream. He was a boy again. One in a crowd of happy children, and there in the midst of them was St. Nicholas himself.
But
The bishop's white horse stood beside it, its baskets filled with gifts. Nicholas pulled out one gift after another and handed them to the happy children.
Van Amsterdam noticed something strange. No matter how many Nicholas handed out, there were always more to give.
In fact, the more he took from the baskets, the more he seemed to hold.
Nicholas handed the gift to Van Amsterdam. It was one of the baker's own.
Van Amsterdam looked up to thank him, but it was no longer St. Nicholas standing there.
Smiling down at him was the old woman with the long black shawl.
Van Amsterdam awoke with a start. Moonlight shone through the half-closed shutters as he lay there thinking.
I always give my customers exactly what they pay for. Not more, not less. But why not give them more?
The next morning, St. Nicholas Day, the baker rose early.
He mixed his gingerbread dough and rolled it out.
He molded the shapes and baked them.
He iced them in red and white to look just like St. Nicholas cookies.
And the cookies were as fine as any he had made.
Van Amsterdam had just finished when the door flew open. In walked the old woman in the long black shawl.
I have come for a dozen of your St. Nicholas cookies. In great excitement, Van Amsterdam counted out 12 cookies.
And one more.
In this shop, from now on, a dozen is 13. You have learned to count well. You will surely be rewarded.
She paid for the cookies, and she started out. And as the door swung shut, the baker's eyes seemed to play a trick on him.
He thought he glimpsed the tail of a long red cloak.
As the old woman foretold, Van Amsterdam was rewarded. With people heard he counted 13 as a dozen. He had more customers than ever.
In fact, Van Amsterdam grew so wealthy, the other bakers in town began doing the same.
From there, the practice spread to other towns and at last through all the American colonies.
And this, they say, is how 13 became the baker's dozen.
A custom common for over a century.
And alive in some places today.